but Faith had favoured the West End. Perhaps they'd all clubbed together to make sure she looked as special as possible, despite the circumstances. Faith turned her beaming gaze on Rose and raised her eyebrow a fraction. Rose didn't react. Her cousin was still playing an imagined game of assuming superiority, even now. They'd had a lifetime of it, something Rose could have done without. She supposed Faith wasn't going to change at this point. The A-line frock was a triumph, with delicate lace edging the three-quarter-length sleeves and the curve of the neck. Daisy nudged her again. "As long as all the photos are just head and shoulders, she'll look gorgeous," she muttered under her breath, and Rose couldn't help laughing. "Stop it, they'll hear you." "Don't care," said Daisy, sticking out her tongue and tossing the chestnut hair that all the Harrison sisters had. Rose bit back a chuckle. That was the thing about family gatherings. Everyone immediately fell back into the roles they'd always had. Daisy had grown up so much over the past year, going from sulky factory worker to responsible member of staff at Manor House tube station, coping with all manner of crises. But here she was, acting like a naughty child again. She'd been the baby of the family until Robbie had come along years after the rest of them. It was a hard role to give up. Auntie Vera's middle daughter, Hope, produced a handful of confetti and threw it over the bride and groom, which made them turn and laugh. The best man, evidently a naval colleague of Martin's as nobody knew him, captured the moment on his camera. That would make a pretty picture, Rose thought. It was good that they'd have something nice to remember the day. "Everyone in the next picture!" called the best man, gesturing to them all to line up. Aunt Vera began organising everybody, as she always did. "Robbie, you're the youngest. We didn't have time to arrange bridesmaids and pages, but how about you come and stand in front of your cousin? Then everyone will see how smart you look." Robbie seemed about to protest, so Rose swiftly stepped in. "Go on, Robbie. Do what your auntie asks." Robbie glared at her. Rose dropped her voice. "It won't kill you, and it'll make Ma happy." Robbie wrinkled his nose, but gave in, dragging his feet in their polished school shoes. He was only 11, and his growth spurt was a long way off. Years of bronchitis had left him thinner than many boys his age, so he looked even younger. He was exactly the right size to hide the bump without obscuring Faith's head and shoulders, just as Vera would have known. Rose shuffled into place by her mother on one side, Daisy on the other, with their father just behind them, as he was by far the tallest. She felt a momentary pang that two siblings were missing. Peter, away with the army, and Clover, who was in the ATS and aimed massive searchlights every night over the south coast. Still, Vera, Arthur, and their two younger girls clustered in closely, and Martin's few family members huddled alongside him. "Smile!" called the best man, and pressed the button. Everybody smiled, and the wedding party was captured for posterity. Patty Harrison knew that her sister was putting a brave face on it, and had to admit she was doing so rather well. It didn't matter that, in other circumstances, Vera would have booked a function room at a quality hotel or one of the civic buildings for the wedding breakfast. Everybody knew that any big building might be a target for the bombers. It would have been awful to have gone to all that trouble and expense, only for the venue to be reduced to rubble in the run-up to the big day. No, far more sensible to invite the select few back to the family home and have a small celebration there. That was certainly the argument that Vera had given the neighbourhood. Vera's home was bigger than the terraced house on Victory Walk where the Harrisons lived, but it was not really so very different, even if Vera liked to think it was. "It's an end of terrace, of course," she always used to say, proud of the fact they heard neighbours' noise from only one side. "Such an advantage when it comes to a garden." Patty would have loved a proper garden, as she enjoyed nothing better than raising fruit and vegetables for her family to eat. Vera didn't make the most of what she had, and that was a shame. Still, it meant there was room for them all to stand outside for more photos, although they didn't linger for long in the chilly late autumn breeze.